Welcome in, everyone, to episode 43 of the Meme Streams 32 Teams podcast. We are back. Week 1 is over, but we're back with another episode. I'm Justin.
I'm Eddie.
Man, football's back.
Week 1. It was a fun week 1.
Football's back.
Football is back.
There's no other way to say it other than football's back. Like, officially. Like, last week when we recorded, we were about to have week 1. So, like, us saying football's back wasn't really true yet. But now,
I mean, it was close enough last week to where we could at least say it's happening. It's actually happening, but now it's actually happened.
thank God it's happened because I needed football. But let's jump into some news after week 1. There's a lot that sort of has happened. Fitzpatrick got injured, so he is not done for the season. They have him on the IR designated to return, so 8 weeks. I personally think, you texted me about this, I think they should go get Cam Newton.
Yeah, that was my first thought seeing that. I don't know how good of a fit he is with their scheme, but he's a good quarterback that's available right now.
I would prefer him over Will Grier.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. No, we have Will Grier. Sorry. Taylor Heineke.
Okay.
Or Kyle Allen. Sorry, my bad.
And I was going to say
Will Grier used to play for Washington.
Carolina. And then I think he's in Carolina behind Cam Newton.
Imagine if he was still with Washington and then Cam Newton came in
and
took his job.
Together.
Yeah, but like Taylor Heineke, or Heineke, however you say his name, and Kyle Allen.
I mean, he did good against the Chargers. Fitzpatrick, well, he did. He managed against the Chargers, I should say.
11 for 15, 122 yards and a TD. Not terrible. It's actually really good to come in.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I think they came out and said they believe in the people they have in the building, which is what you're going to do, right? You're either going to say you believe in the people you have, or you're going to go out and pick up someone.
Yeah, and if they were going to get Cam Newton, they would have done it.
Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe they let Taylor play for a few weeks, see how it works. If they're not feeling it, then maybe they go get Cam.
I mean, what are the chances Cam gets taken between now and, say, week 5?
I think it depends on if there's another injury.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if another team loses their quarterback, there's a good chance that Cam goes.
I mean, I'm all in favor of Washington say, we believe in our people, we believe in our backups. I'm all in favor of that. But at the same time, most of these backups are backups for a reason. Not every backup is Nick Foles.
Yeah. Hard to find a Nick Foles.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's only about 25 real starters in the league as far as quarterbacks go. And you do the math on that, that leaves about a quarter of the league without a really good quarterback. And then you're saying you got Cam Newton, who is one of those 25, unsigned right now. So,
yeah,
if I was coach, I would have gone with Cam Newton. They want to go with who they got. By all means, do it. Just hope it doesn't turn around to bite them.
We'll see. They play the Giants this week, which I think is a good test because it's a game that they should win.
Yeah.
So
and it is a quote unquote short week. True. But how short of a week is it if you weren't a starter the week before?
They are fortunate though that they played week 1 in Washington, then they played week 2 on that short week in Washington again. So they're not missing for a travel day. So maybe that plays into their favor. They are the Thursday night game, like you said. But I think it's a good test for Taylor because it's a game they should win. So he needs to go out and win the game.
Yeah.
And they play the Bills week 3, and we'll see how that.
Yeah. I mean, if he does the same thing that he did against the Chargers, of course, it'll be 4 quarters instead of about 2.5, 3 quarters. If he can do 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, I'll take that out of a backup.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see.
The Cowboys did lose DeMarcus Lawrence today.
Loss.
He has a broken foot, broke it in practice, and he's out indefinitely, which is huge, especially because I'm a Cowboys fan and I want to cry. But
what is it about why are there so many injuries already? I mean, most notably is going to be the Ravens and all their running back issues, but I feel like this is about the 10th injury between preseason week 4 and week 1 NFL.
I mean, I told you last night the Jets have, I think it's 11 players now on IR. They added another four, the last four
Jesus.
yesterday slash today.
Yeah, and two
Um,
more Saints players got put questionable for this week. Marshawn Lattimore being one of them, and their
Giants
starting center.
Giants will Evan Ingram for Thursday. Odell Beckham won't play versus the Texans this week. There's a lot of injuries.
There's a
Um,
lot of injuries.
but we'll
Last
see.
season, I would have said last season the injuries were before because they didn't have that chance to get conditioning and get ready for the season. But now they've had a full off season and everything. So what gives?
That I wish I wish I knew injuries well
It's
enough that
just
I could give you
weird.
an answer. Yeah.
It's just weird. But Saquon's still hurt.
Yeah,
I
Saquon
don't.
is still questionable. He said he was sore after week one, and he didn't even play the full game. So that's not a good sign. But Saquon's built to come back from an injury like that, I
Oh
would
yeah.
say. So I think he should be fine. Maybe week two, it might be a little bit of a slow start again. And I would say week
Whenever
three is when he gets like full carries again.
whenever he comes back, he shouldn't be more than maybe half carrying
Because
half his normal carries.
week three they'll have, because week two they play Thursday, so they'll have the full
The long
weekend plus the normal week going into week three.
yeah.
So I think Saquon going into week three will be his like prime return. So if you have him in fantasy, week two, if you be careful starting on week two, I'd say.
Yeah.
But going into week three, I'd feel comfortable.
And it's not really a favorable matchup this week, regardless with Washington's front
Yeah,
four. So
I agree.
probably wouldn't hurt to if he's going to already get half carries and he's already going to be at even if he was 100% efficient, he's going to be the 75% of what he is at best normally
Yeah.
against Montez Sweat, Chase Young. So
So yeah, we'll see with Saquon. The Broncos lose wide receiver Jared Judy. Not for the season. He is just out for a few weeks. They put him on, which I didn't know this existed. I thought there was only two versions of IR. There's actually a third version called short-term IR, which means they have to sit out a minimum of 3 weeks. So
okay,
he is on, and you can use that so you can get another player on your roster, right?
yeah,
So he will be out for a minimum of 3 weeks. It's a big hit, I would say, for that offense. Definitely needing him. They still have Cortland Sutton, but who else do they really have?
yeah. Cortland Sutton's about to get a little uptick in
um,
looks and hopefully production.
I mean, Denver did win by 2 touchdowns, so
Yeah,
they played New York. So we'll see what happens. Um,
I feel like we could sit here and keep talking about injuries forever. Hollywood Brown got hurt today in practice.
the another big injury though before we progress is the 49ers lose Raheem Mostert for the season.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest hit of anyone, any team that's happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
that's huge production, but there's been a whole lot of good being said about Trey Sermon, so we'll get to see what he can do.
well, he was a healthy scratch for week one, so we'll see if they can believe in him going into week two because the guy that really showed out was Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell. I don't know why I can't say that name. He ran for 104 yards after Mostert went down, so I would take 100 yards from a backup running back.
I mean, if they split carries and they can get 150 on the ground between them, I'll take that too.
He had 19 carries. He ran the bulk. 19 of their 28 total rushes. So
Yeah. So if they with that same game plan, split carries between their two, or give the ball to one or the other. I mean, if you can get 100 yards out of one guy, that's a good day.
yeah, we'll see. I think that does it for any other news that I've seen. I don't see any.
49ers have the Eagles.
Yeah, I
Put that out there.
I think I think they'll have a good week too. They looked.
Yeah.
I would say they looked good in week one, but play the Lions, so I don't want to put too much into it. Um,
You say they look good, and then what happened fourth quarter? Was that just all garbage time?
From what I saw, it's what it looked like. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, they were up going into that quarter. They were up 38-17. So, yeah.
That's what I feel. Yeah,
They kind of just let them do their thing.
they still covered
Yeah.
by
Um,
half point.
but we'll jump straight into our week one review, and we'll start. We won't be touching over all the games. It's just too long to do that. But we will start with the Thursday game because I think that would. I mean, I'm
What a
biased because
game to start
I'm
the
a Cowboys
season,
fan,
though.
but I mean,
Great game to start the season. You were up screaming 75% of it at least.
the first hour, like, not like obviously the game's an hour, like if you put just the 15 minutes, but the first
First
like
hour of watch time.
yeah, from 7:20 when it started to 8:20, I was standing. I was not sitting. I was yelling. I was hype. I was angry. I was nervous. I was excited. Add all the emotions into one. That was me.
Yeah, and it was I think the biggest takeaway from this game is one, the Cowboys look way better than I thought they did. Tampa Bay is who we thought they were, and there were just over 100 total rushing yards in this game combined. I expected to see more running out of Zeke, but it is Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
That's my biggest takeaway is the run. You're not going to run against Tampa Bay this year.
and I saw a lot of people on Twitter like complaining about Zeke's production, but if you notice, it wasn't really the game plan. I mean,
No.
Dak threw for 58 attempts.
Yeah.
Tom Brady
They
threw
only
for 50. Like there was over
Yeah.
100 passes in this game. So it's hard to expect Zeke to perform
love
against this defense, right? Like
I love Twitter comments sometimes.
yeah, it's
But
great.
yeah, no, Zeke, yeah, it's Tampa Bay. I don't know how many times we've harped on Tampa Bay saying they've brought back their whole starting 22.
Hmm.
They just won a Super Bowl. This defense is not to be messed with.
Their only downside to their team, it was evident in the game, is that they are thin in the secondary.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
They,
had Dak lit him up for 400.
I mean, they have talented secondary, but they I think had two players get injured during the game, and they don't really have that much in terms of depth. So it's definitely evident, and I think they need to figure out a way to keep those guys healthy.
Same thing. Injury bugs just sweep across the
Yeah,
nation,
I don't.
quite literally.
Do we talk about this like every season? Like injuries take over.
I don't feel like. I mean, I feel like last season we talked about it a good bit, but I don't remember there being a season where it feels like every team is getting hit. Because you can go out down the injury report, and I'd be surprised if we can find 3 teams that don't have an injury in the last week.
Yeah,
It's, I mean, it's football,
it's
but
just
why?
it's so weird, man. Like there's years where like teams will have like no serious injuries and they'll have like maybe an ankle sprain here or like uh uh, something similar. I can't think of an injury that like is like a weak thing and then they move on.
Yeah,
But it does seem like most teams are having players be out for 3+ weeks, like minimum, at least one player. Unless you're the
yeah.
Ravens and you have like five.
You have your whole running back.
But yeah, I think both quarterbacks were exactly what we thought they would be. Like
Yeah,
Tom Brady did Tom Brady things. He made Tom Brady just makes football look so easy. And you like I watch Tom Brady and I'm like, yeah, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, you just stand there and throw it to that guy.
you just throw the ball and the guy catches it. Like it's
Y-
not that hard.
Yeah. And then
And then you see Dak do it, and you're like, oh, he makes it look a little bit harder, but he did just as good.
yeah. I mean Dak did the same thing that he did last season before he got injured. Threw for 400 yards, looked really
Dak is
good.
back. Dak is back.
Yeah, pretty much. For the Cowboys, I think still a secondary issue. I mean,
What's
I
Yeah, I mean,
know we were playing Brady and all, but
I was about to say,
it's
I
just
know we're
man,
saying Dak threw for 400 yards. Tom Brady had 379. Like, that's amazing from the quarterbacks. That's great. But who the heck were they throwing against? Pee Wee?
I mean, we had almost 800 yards passing in that game. Like,
Yeah,
does anyone want to stop them?
that's too much.
A bit. There's a total of 3 interceptions, which is good. I mean, it shows that the
It was an
defenses.
active game. Just the whole game was just fun.
Yeah, like you
The
said, I mean,
emotions.
imagine starting the season with this game.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I feel like we knew it was going to be a good game. I didn't think it was going to be that good of a game. I didn't think it was going to be that close of a game either. Yeah, so
I
just for reference, Tom Brady threw for 201 yards, 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not shocked that he threw for 380 and 4 TDs against Dallas.
No.
The 2 picks I'm shocked about, one of them was a tip from Fournette. So I'm not going to blame that on Brady.
I think the other one was Hail Mary at the end of the first half.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not like they were bad throws. They were just trying to unfortunate or trying to force something to happen.
Yeah. So we can technically say that Brady went 380 for 4 touchdowns, no picks, right?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what I
Insane.
expected from him going into this game. Dak throwing 403 TDs and interception. Honestly, to me, I expected that. Because that's how Dak played last season, and I expected him to continue that when he came back from his injury. And I mean,
He did exactly that.
we had no run game. Like you said, the Bucs defense front 7 is the best in the league at stopping the run.
Scary.
Gronkowski got 2 touchdowns. Whoop. Yay. Great. He did it again.
Yeah, really.
Amari Cooper did say before the season that he thinks he's the best wide receiver in the game. And he wants to prove it. And I mean, I think 13 catches for 139 and 2 touchdowns is a good start.
It's a really good start. I'm actually about to look because I haven't even looked. I usually look at this on fantasy every week, just the stats, who's doing the best.
He is 3rd or 4th in terms of yards this season.
Okay.
After week 1. I don't know why I'm saying this season.
He
we played 7 games.
He's 3rd. Above that is Deebo Samuel with 190 and Tyreek Hill with almost 200.
Wait, what?
So
they both had over 190 yards? Jesus.
Deebo had 189, Tyreek had 197.
Okay.
I didn't realize they both had that many.
But I think both of these teams, I mean, the Bucs, we've said it, we both think they're going to go back and win the Super Bowl. Like, I think even though they only won by 2 over Dallas, it's week 1 of the regular season. They still showed that at the end of the game, they can get it together and win.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but Zuerlein.
See, I want to say that so bad, right? Like, as a Cowboys fan, I want to come in here and say, like, oh, if Greg the Leg had just made the field goals, we'd win the game.
Not saying that, but it is true. Yeah, if you would have made one more field goal, y'all would have won. But
that's if nothing else changes.
Yeah, the situation at the end of the game where you gave Tom Brady minute and a half or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, he drove it all the way down the field, got a field goal to take the.
He scored a field goal in 1:22, and he went 57 yards.
So there was still 2 seconds left on the clock. They ran out probably 20 seconds of that, waiting for the clock to run down. They could have scored a touchdown there, and it wouldn't change the thing anyway. If they didn't have to score the touchdown there.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. There's just a lot that needs to change.
For our first game, I mean, Dallas showed out. This definitely was a Buccaneers win, not a Dallas loss, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is off of the turnovers, because Dallas had 4 takeaways, right, from Tampa Bay. This is the biggest point to me, is the first fumble, Dallas scored a touchdown.
Yep.
Perfect. Right? Missed the extra point. Not perfect.
So be it.
So 6 points. First interception, we got a field goal. So we're up to 9 points off turnovers. We had another interception, which was the one to end the half on the Hail Mary. So, whatever. And then the other turnover was a fumble, and we scored a field goal. So we scored 6, 9, 12 points off of, we'll say, 3 turnovers. Minimum, we need to be scoring 14. And if they score minimum 14, we win the game.
I mean, you got points on every turnover. That's huge. You can't expect to win a game and not get not one not get turnovers. You're not going to win a game if you don't get a lot of turnovers. Two, scoring off of those turnovers, you have to do,
But
especially whenever you are in a situation like against Tampa Bay.
That's the thing is scoring points on turnovers. Awesome. Any game, right? We want that. But especially against a team like this, you have to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
you see what happens.
Here we are, right?
Yeah.
We forced 4 turnovers and we still lose. That doesn't happen that often, right? That shouldn't happen.
No, you win the turnover game, you usually have a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
I mean, and you can see at the end of the game from the win probability spiked all the way up to, if I could get there, 74% towards the end.
My heart. We had it. We had it, and then we just didn't, you know?
Yeah. Football's back.
It's because we were up by 1 with 1:20, and we thought, no, I didn't think. No, I literally said.
You said it.
I said before, it was the possession that we took the lead on. I remember telling you, I said, everyone we were in a call with, I remember saying, we cannot give Tom Brady more than a minute.
Yep.
What'd we do? What'd we do?
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like the Tampa Bay's defense knew that too. Is like, if they get away with something, let them do it. Give Tom Brady as much time as possible.
Yeah. I mean, technically, if they really wanted to, they could have just let us run in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would have put us up.
Tom Brady 5 minutes.
At most, we would have been up by 6 points with a 2-point conversion, right? And then
how much time's left on the clock at that point? Add 2 minutes to what
4 minutes. We'll say 4 minutes is left. Tom Brady to go down and score a touchdown and kick the extra point in 4 minutes. I
mean, if he had 30 more seconds, he may have got a touchdown.
If he had 4 more seconds, I bet he would have gone and scored a touchdown.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I think, like you said, we'll wrap it up with a wonderful start to the season. I don't think
couldn't have asked for a better game to start, honestly.
I'm sad as a Cowboys fan that we lost, but they look good. I can't complain, right?
Yeah.
But a team that did not look good at all.
Well, a team that did not look good and a team that looked way better than I thought they were going to.
Yeah.
Being Saints and the Packers. What the heck happened? On both sides.
Every time I look at the score line and the box score, my brain just doesn't understand.
It doesn't look real. You're telling me Drew Brees retired and nothing changed?
And you're telling me that Jameis Winston didn't throw an interception?
And Aaron Rodgers did?
But Aaron Rodgers didn't throw a touchdown? And the Packers didn't score a touchdown?
Out of all of that, I think the most surprising thing, Jameis Winston, 5 touchdowns, 148 yards.
If I remember correctly, seeing the stat, that is the least amount of yards for throwing 5 touchdowns. Which I'm honestly not shocked about. Like, usually you throw, I would say minimum 200 yards, right? Like, minimum you're throwing 200 yards.
Yeah, I mean, think of what a normal drive is. Normal drive is going to start from your own 30, 40 if you're lucky. So that's 70, 65 yards you have to go every drive. And you get I don't even know how many drives you think a team gets in a game.
I would say minimum 10.
6, 10. Okay, I was gonna go a little lower.
Unless I would say 10, unless the other team is like holding the ball for like 10 minutes of possession.
I mean, if you look at the Saints' second half scoring drives, minute 26, minute 41, 2 minutes 14 seconds, you're gonna get a lot more drives if it's like that.
Yeah, but look at like.
And then you look at the first half.
But here's keep this in mind. Minute 26.
Oh, they were short.
12
short
yards.
Fields.
Minute 41, 21 yards. So keep that in mind for how short the drives were.
That's fair. And
Because
Aaron Rodgers got benched.
which was the right decision.
This is the right decision too late because it didn't
Yeah,
happen until when? Fourth quarter-ish?
yeah, it was the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Because Jordan Love played, I think, 2 possessions, including one of them he fumbled. So
Green Bay, baby. You got some issues.
they got
Or maybe that was just because Aaron Rodgers didn't practice all offseason, didn't do anything, and then rolled in week 2 preseason.
As much as I want to try and blame it on that,
There's more issues for that. They gave up 38 points.
I don't care how like little practice Rodgers has. Like they scored no touchdowns.
And they gave up 5 touchdowns.
Aaron Jones ran the ball 5 times. Like I don't
What was this game?
I don't know what happened to the Packers. Right? Like
They only ran 15 times.
I was
total.
watching this game like on and off, trying to keep up with as many games as possible, and I'm just still in shock at how bad they looked. Like they looked terrible. Like if you had told me last episode, right, like week 1 prediction, and you were like, you know what, Aaron Rodgers, bold prediction, doesn't throw a touchdown, I would have been like, give me all your money.
Oh, I can't even imagine what any kind of betting lines on that were. Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw a touchdown.
Plus $7,000.
7,000 times for your money.
I mean, let's be honest.
But I mean, yeah, no, there's more issues than the fact that Aaron Rodgers didn't perform. They didn't run the ball ever. They didn't have any turnovers. Well, they didn't force any turnovers. They fumbled once. I thought they had 2 interceptions. It was just bad.
I'm
Just,
looking
all of Green Bay was just bad.
I'm looking through his career,
Mhm.
and looking at games in which he didn't throw a touchdown.
How far back you got to go?
So last season he didn't throw a touchdown in a game. They played Tampa Bay. They lost 38-10. But like they scored.
Last season's Tampa Bay.
They scored a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The year before that, he didn't throw a touchdown against Minnesota, and they won 23-10. He didn't throw a touchdown against Carolina, and they won 24-16. He didn't throw a touchdown against Dallas. What? And they won 34-24.
So it sounds like they had production. Something else was working.
They scored touchdowns, regardless. So like,
when's the last time the Packers put up 3 points?
With him playing. So they put up 0 against Detroit, but it was a Week 17 game, so he threw 5 times. So I'm not going to count that.
Yeah.
He didn't play in that game or that game. Man, they get shut out when he doesn't play.
Oh, I mean, we just saw what he basically wasn't playing this game.
Have they ever scored 3 points in his career? No.
That's what I was just looking at. I'm back to 2018. I don't see it.
I'm in 2011. Like
there you go then. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I don't know what happened in this game. 2010, they lost to the Lions. Ready for the scoreline? 7-3.
$2010 Lions. That would have been.
Can I look at this box score?
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's Matthew Stafford and Megatron, isn't it?
No.
No. Stafford came in.
You won't.
12.
It's Drew Stanton.
Okay.
Also, why did Matt Flynn play more than Aaron Rodgers in this game? What happened in this game? Why was it? No one scored in the first half. The Packers kicked a field goal in the third quarter. And then with 8 minutes to go in the game, finally, the Lions scored a touchdown with a pass from Drew Stanton to Will Heller. Who are these people? And it's not like it was snowing because they were playing in Detroit, which is a dome.
This was a decade ago, man. There's no telling. I'd be interested to see like the ESPN play-by-play of that game because I'm sure they've got it. You said this was 2010?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm curious now. 2010 Detroit. They won 9-0 against the Jets that year too.
Aaron Rodgers got benched in the first half. I
Oh, Rodgers was concussed. Rodgers got a concussion.
thank you.
Yeah.
My brain was just confused.
Yeah, the headline for that game is Lions hold off Packers after Rodgers concussed.
Man.
So they didn't score a touchdown, and Aaron Rodgers basically was on the bench. So I don't think we can count that one either.
So this is to like what I'm looking at. The first time in Aaron Rodgers' career that they as a team have looked terrible.
Yeah.
There's games where he
Correct.
doesn't play well, right? That happens. Like some of these games, like there was a game that when I read they didn't throw a touchdown, he threw 2 picks and they still won.
Yeah.
Like
Packers had Donald Driver at this time. I was trying to find anybody else I knew.
he's a legend. I don't know, man. It just I'm not gonna say anything about the Packers like I'm worried. All right,
I will. I'm worried for him.
I'm not.
I'll
Because
see what they do against the Lions.
they
this
play
week.
Detroit. Depending on how they look this week, I will come back to you next episode and either say I'm worried or say, okay.
So
We're
too
gonna-
early to sound the horn. You're saying?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm dusting it off
You think
because it's not a good start. Nothing about this game was good for the Packers.
here's the thing. Their division, trash. Everyone
yeah.
lost.
That's their only saving
The Packers
grace.
are tied for first at 0-1.
They're the only division without a win, aren't they?
I
believe.
Yes.
Because wait, no, the East.
Nope. Eagles
Nope,
won.
You're right. Yep, you're right. Thank you.
I'm not sad.
Yeah, me neither.
There's 2 divisions where everyone won, and then there's 1 division where no one won. So I don't know, man. I'm not worried about the Packers just yet. The Saints, though.
No, Saint.
Do you remember what prediction I made?
Remind the viewers, because I definitely.
I said the Saints are going to the playoffs. No one believes the beginning of the season. I know what I'm talking about.
I think you're about to see a lot more people hopping on that train.
And before Winston throws like 5 picks in this next game, and I go, you know what?
My biggest fear for the Saints and for Winston is we're gonna see the same thing we see Fitzmagic, Fitztragic.
Because he also throws 5 touchdowns in a game.
Exactly.
And
so
then he
we're gonna
throws
have to
5
find.
picks in a game.
Yeah. So is this gonna be a season? Is this finally gonna be the season Jameis Winston goes 40-10, or are we gonna end the season and he's sitting at 28-28?
Here's the thing. Like, I don't want to talk about the Saints too much because we have one more game to talk about for week 1. But the thing with Winston that really impressed me is obviously he didn't throw any picks, but he understood that he didn't need to do anything crazy.
Mhm.
Right? His defense was playing out of their mind, and he was like, I just got to be calm. I just got to make simple throws, and we're going to win this game. He throws 5 touchdowns.
And as you pointed out, they were in short field for what seems to be the whole second half.
Pretty much.
So defense did their job perfectly. Jameis Winston executed his role perfectly.
And he still threw a 55-yard bomb to Deontay Harris for a touchdown. So
And
like
he still aired it out.
He still has the ability to throw it deep and be accurate.
And he can see it now.
His issue has always been the short to mid-range area. Because deep, I think he's one of the best in the game. Short to mid.
We've seen him air out 40 plus yard passes in whenever he was at
Tampa Bay.
Thank you. I was about to say Panthers, knowing that was wrong. So it's not like he can't do it. Like you said, we've seen him do that. We know he can do that. But yeah, anything less than like 15 yards seems like he always struggled, and he did not struggle Sunday.
So I don't know. I'm looking forward to the Saints team. I think I'm high on them. They go into week 2 playing Carolina. So I think Winston should do the same thing. He shouldn't go in and throw anything crazy. His defense is gonna make Sam Darnold look like a child, unfortunately.
They'll contain Christian McCaffrey as much as Christian McCaffrey can be contained.
Yeah.
So I see. Let's go ahead and do this. Prediction for that game next week. What's the spread for that game? Let's just go off of that.
Did I bet on that game? Is that in my parlay? For anyone,
I think it is.
For anyone not aware, I placed a 8-team parlay. Yes, the Saints are -3.5. I think they cover.
Too. I think they cover and then some.
Yeah, I honestly see them winning by like 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 possessions at least.
I think it's really unfair to give the Saints -3.5 after week 1.
That I think as soon as I saw that, I either messaged you or we may have been talking at the time, and I said this is a steal.
Yeah, I don't want anyone's money to be on the line. So I'm just gonna say this, but if you bet, it's on you, not what I said. I think it's leaning towards a free bet at -3.5.
I have them in 2 parlays on that spread.
That's fair. That's a good choice. Yeah, I don't know. I'm high on the Saints. I was high on the Saints for the season, and I mean, here we are. Here they
are.
They made Aaron Rodgers look like a child. But yeah, enough about how bad the Packers look and how good the Saints look. We'll talk about the last game for week 1, which is literally the last game for week 1. Monday night. The debacle. I'm trying to think of family-friendly terms to use.
I actually
cluster.
Did not watch the majority of this game.
Oh, dude.
But I popped in for majority of overtime is pretty much all I saw. I saw like the first drive and then that last bit of overtime. I was trying to catch up on some sleep and I did.
It's the same thing. Lamar Jackson needs help. It's how it's always been. They're just like, all right, go win the game. And he fumbled 3 times this game. 2 were lost.
Yeah. Well, I have a hard time harping on Lamar Jackson in this because he literally has to do it all right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he needs help.
Yeah, well, he had help. And then they got hurt, and then hurt, and then hurt.
It's like someone walked by and was like, your leg doesn't exist. Your leg doesn't exist.
What was her name? The figure skater that got whacked by the Russians at the Olympics in like the 90s.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. I have no idea. I'm not even going to be able to guess her name. Not even a hint. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like the Raiders were like, we're going to win week 1.
You're saying Gruden did it?
I'm not saying Gruden did it, but he's getting paid $10 million a year, and I wonder where some of that money's going.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. But yeah,
Thank you, Twitch chat, live at twitch.tv/MemeDream32Teams.
Perfect plug.
Thank you.
Man, the Raiders, I don't want to say that they're fortunate, but when the Ravens lose everyone before week 1...
and the Raiders still squeaked this out, this was not a...
Which I'm confused by, right? Because, like, let's take Derek Carr out of the situation, right? Like,
yeah,
Josh,
he went off.
You have Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, a wonderful 1-2 running back duo, right? And then you have wide receivers in Brian Edwards, who's a youngster who I am high on, Hunter Renfrow, who I'm high on, Henry Ruggs III, who I'm high on, and one of the best tight ends in the league in Darren Waller. This team should be putting up an absurd amount of points.
This is one of the few teams in the league that have too many options almost.
But there's sometimes with Derek Carr where there's quarterbacks who make football more difficult than it should be.
Yes.
And I think Derek Carr is unfortunately one of those guys. Like, Derek Carr has had seasons where he's looked MVP-esque, right? And there's
Yes,
seasons where
very
you're
much
like,
so.
where's the
What are you
disconnect?
doing? Yeah.
So,
I
for
don't know.
the
He had one interception. I'm not upset about the one interception he had. This was a good game for Derek Carr.
good is where I
Yeah,
will put
good.
it. Good
Yes.
is where I will put this game. This game was
This
a
was a
mess.
Ravens loss for me. This was not a Raiders win. This was a Ravens loss.
I honestly wouldn't even put it that way. I don't because
It's the Ravens didn't have enough to win. Is the way I'm looking at this.
do
They
you
were
think
right there. They were right there. But if they could have had one more run go their way, this game would have gone Baltimore's way. And I can't say that for the Raiders.
let me ask this about the Ravens. Is this a trend that we're going to see? Is that the Ravens are going to be okay all season and they're going to lose games because they just do not have people on the team?
It hurts to say yes, knowing what they can do, but I'm gonna have to say yes. Whatever my preseason prediction was, that was prior to them having their whole wide receiver or running back core taken out. Lamar Jackson, he ran for 86 yards. He was their leading rusher, and of course, he's quarterback. You can't expect him to do that all season long. He's done it before, and that's great.
You know they're
But
going to
even
though.
when they're going to have to at this point, they're going to run him ragged. That is the only option. So, as the only way I see them being successful is one, God forbid, he gets hurt. Lamar Jackson gets hurt, but he's got to stay healthy. They've got to limit him as much as they can without hurting him, if that makes sense. Because if he starts getting fatigued, you're about to see it's just going to be downhill. And if he can't make it all 4 quarters, they're going to lose a lot of games in the second half.
And you say that Hollywood's injured, right?
Yes, Hollywood is currently injured. Marquise Brown. So, I mean, and it's just one thing after. He was a non-participant in today's practice. He's questionable for this week.
They've lost 3 running backs.
They've lost 3 running backs. Like, not like lost for a couple weeks. Like, they are not coming back this season.
And they went and signed 3 veterans in Latavius Murray, Le'Veon Bell, and Devonta Freeman. They should just pick Todd Gurley up to complete the Infinity Stones of overrated old running backs.
They might as well at this point, honestly.
And
I mean, they need
give them each like 8 carries. You get 8, you get 8, you get 8, you get 8, and we'll figure this out.
You and you are first down backs. We're gonna split you every time. You're our third down back. Whenever one of them gets tired, you're our next guy. Like
you just take turns for the drive. Like you go this drive, then you like A, B, C, D. I'm gonna call out your letter.
Basically, start doing it like hockey lines.
I don't know, man.
They can't have Lamar Jackson running it. Design run plays 15 times a game. He had 12 this game.
That's the part that like bugs me is like Tyson Williams. I know he's a young guy. He hasn't had a chance. Give him a chance. You have Latavius Murray, who fits this style of offense perfectly. Give him a chance to own the team. Like, take some of the weight. Take some of the weight off of Lamar Jackson's shoulders, though. They have to, because, like you said, if they don't, I'm fearful that he's going to get injured.
That's the biggest thing. Is
because
he's gonna get hurt. He's gonna try to force something.
What this is going to remind me of? Robert Griffin III.
Oh. Yeah,
they're definitely. I'm not.
Why did I get goosebumps?
They're not the same talent-wise. Lamar Jackson to me is much better.
He is elite compared to Lamar Jackson, or compared to.
But it is a very similar situation in which RG3 ran a lot, injured his leg, and then was done.
He was in a situation where, I mean, similar to what we're looking at now, where he had to be the guy that did 90% of their production.
Yep.
And we're looking at that again here, and yeah, that is about the most perfect comparison you can make right here.
I don't know. I think the Ravens, they have to take some of the pressure off of Jackson. They just have to. Like, I don't care how you have to figure it out. I don't care if you have to sign 76 running backs this season. Like,
I mean, Lamar
Jackson should not be running 12 times. I don't know. It's just he seems like he has to do so much, and I don't like it.
He was a third of their carries roughly. He was a little over a third of their carries, and he ran for 86 yards.
I would be okay with 25% of the carries being by Lamar Jackson. I would be
At
comfortable
most,
with
at the
25%.
absolute most. I mean, go look at another team. I'm just going to pick the Browns, Baker Mayfield. He's not a dual threat quarterback, anything like that. But how much did he run in their game?
He ran
One time.
126th.
He ran one time.
Well, let's compare it to Arizona because Kyler Murray's.
Kyler Murray, that's yeah.
He ran 5 of their 33 carries.
And that again, whenever you think of dual threat quarterbacks in the league, you think Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and you see the difference here.
Yeah, he ran 1 out of every. We'll say 1 out of 7.
Where Lamar Jackson was 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
Every set of downs, Lamar Jackson was running the ball once.
I don't know. I want to see Lamar Jackson succeed. I feel a little wary that that he's gonna get injured because they're gonna be like, well, we have no one else, so you got it every play.
If they continue down this path, I imagine at maybe as early as like week 4, week 5, you're gonna see Lamar Jackson on the sideline getting stretched out by the trainers because he's cramping.
I would agree. I don't want to see that. I want to see the kid succeed.
Get better.
But
yeah, 100%. The Ravens have been a threat in the AFC pretty much since he's been there.
Yeah, and a little bit before because with Flacco. So like,
yeah,
I don't know. We're both. I'm just fearful for him. I hope he doesn't get injured. I really don't. I'm just nervous that if they use him too much, unfortunately, his body will give out, and I don't want to see that.
On the other side, Raiders, keep doing your thing. This was a good game. For the Raiders, it was a good game.
I think it was a huge win, too.
Yes.
Right? Like, especially in their division, getting this win is big time.
They need all the help they can get.
Their real test is going into week 2 because they play Pittsburgh, who we both aren't high on, but Pittsburgh made Buffalo look like children.
I don't know what happened in
that Vegas-Pittsburgh game is going to be really exciting to watch.
Pittsburgh is favored at 5-0.
You know what? Let's just talk about that game. Let's just go straight into week 2. Let's talk about Vegas into Pittsburgh.
I'm not high on. I mean, you just said it. I'm not high on the Steelers this year.
I wasn't high on the Steelers either.
I'm high on Najee Harris. I'm not high on Roethlisberger.
But Najee Harris did not look good.
No.
In week 1.
Which just drags my whole opinion of their team down.
But they forced 2 fumbles. Didn't get any picks, that Pittsburgh defense.
Thank God, because Josh Allen didn't do anything for me.
I think them beating Buffalo is massive.
Again, same thing we were just saying about the Raiders over the Ravens. This is a huge win for them because they're going to need all the help they can get in their division too.
Yeah, they're actually, weirdly enough, they're tied for first with the Bengals.
Yeah, and not the Browns or the Ravens.
What? What happened?
This is the opposite.
But I think
I don't see that continuing. But I mean,
how I see this game going is I think it's going to be similar to the Ravens-Raiders game, where it's like 60 total points. It's like back and forth. I would probably say a couple picks from Carr in this game.
Yeah, I don't see him putting up 400 yards again. I'd be surprised if he eclipsed 300 in this game.
I think he'll eclipse 300.
I'm saying under.
I would say over. I think there's going to be some fourth quarter antics going on.
Yeah, that's the part you hate about it, but that's what it is.
That's the hard part, right? Because you could be like, oh, the first 3 quarters, he's going to throw for 175. And you're like, yeah, I could see that. And then the fourth quarter, he's going to throw for 175.
Yeah, because they're down 35-10, so they're just letting them air it out all the time.
So, what do you think is the key? We'll go from team to team, right? So we'll do the Steelers first. What is the key for the Steelers to win this game? Like, what do they have to do in terms of stopping the Raiders?
I mean, they gotta force Derek Carr to make turnovers, force him to make mistakes. Because, like you said earlier, Derek Carr is the most self-destructive quarterback. If you put a little bit of pressure on him, he's going to make a mistake.
That poor guy, man. There's games where he looks MVP-esque. And there's games where I'm like, why are you playing?
What are you doing, son?
So, I mean, I do agree with you. I think the front seven from Pittsburgh has to step up here.
I mean, we just saw what they did to the Bills.
Yeah.
If they can
3
replicate
sacks,
that,
2 forced fumbles.
if they can replicate that, or if they can at least have the same pressure, they're probably going to have a pretty good game.
They're definitely playing a worse team.
Yes.
So I do think the front seven from Pittsburgh will look better this game. And I think Pittsburgh's defensive back, the secondary, I think is really good. So I do agree. I think it's on the front seven. I think the secondary. I think the secondary's perfect. It's gonna stop the Raiders, but I think if the front seven can't get pressure, the Raiders will win.
I think that comes down to it. Now the other side, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's going to do his thing. He's not going to throw a bunch because he can't. He's not going to be mobile. He's going to take sacks if they come.
For me, it's the opposite side of the ball. Instead of focusing on the Raiders defense, I think the Raiders have to limit turnovers.
Yeah.
I think that's how they win this game.
I mean, yeah, just don't give the ball to him ever. 60 minutes of possession.
Literally. Just never.
On sides. Go for it on fourth down.
Yeah, we're the coach from Presbyterian College. We're going to go for every fourth down.
Shout out him.
2-point conversions, always onside kicks. We're playing Madden in real life.
Up 38-0 after the first quarter.
I want that guy to be in the NFL.
Dude,
give him a team like the Chiefs.
Give him the Jaguars if Urban Meyer wants to leave, who he came out and said, I don't know if you saw, he came out and said he has zero intentional leave.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that today about Urban Meyer going back to college, but I don't want to. We'll see. I wouldn't be shocked, to be honest.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I wouldn't be shocked either way. I don't think he's built for the NFL. I want to see him succeed in the NFL, but I don't think he's built for the NFL. Same thing with Nick Saban, while he said he won't ever go back.
Yeah. But back to the game at hand.
Yes.
I think Derek Carr has to limit turnovers. I think that's the key to this game. Is if Derek Carr can throw maximum 1 interception, I think the Raiders have a good chance at winning this game.
So, okay. Do you think they do that?
I do think the Raiders win.
Okay. Do you think
by how much?
Possession? Yeah.
That's the
game-winning
question.
field goal? I don't see them blowing the Steelers out of the water. I see Derek Carr making
I think this
not
game
enough mistakes for the Steelers to win.
If the Raiders win, I'll put it in both spectrums. If the Raiders win, it's by maximum of 7.
Mm-hmm.
If the Steelers win, I think it could be upwards of 10 points because they forced 3 interceptions.
I feel like it could be a very quick downward spiral for Derek Carr in this game. If they do get to him, if they get a pick on the Raiders' second drive, Derek Carr is going to have that mentality of, now I got to make up for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be, like you said, it's perfect thing, self-destructive.
Yeah, I think the Raiders win. I think it's 4 points. I'm thinking 28-24, 31-28, something like that, 31-27. Those score ranges is right.
Mid-20s for both.
That's where I see this game going.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I don't think it's low scoring. So yeah, between 20 and 30 for both teams. At best, it's going to be 50 total points.
Who do you have winning this game?
Raiders.
Okay.
Again, like you said, not by much.
I just don't see the Raiders blowing out the Steelers. I just don't.
I don't see the Steelers blowing out the Raiders either, but I can see them winning by 2 possessions.
I see them blowing them out just because of turnovers, right? They just get short fields. They block a punt like they did against the Bills. I mean,
I feel like this is a good test for the Raiders.
It's a good test for both teams because I would say these teams are very evenly matched across the board. Overall team, I think they're both evenly matched. This is going to be a good test because week 1, they both beat a team that's better than them.
Yes.
Now week 2 is where you're
who's really got it.
Because upsets happen, right? Like you beat a team that's better than you because like you technically have nothing to lose, right?
Yeah.
Like you can try different things, you can go crazy, but a game like this, you have to, in a sense, play perfect to beat a team that's evenly matched with you. So I don't know. We'll see. This game is going to be a good one to watch. I would say watch this game. But if it gets out of hand real early, don't watch it. And then I think the only other game that really like stands out to us, there's like week 2 games that are kind of like all over the place that are going to be like kind of exciting to watch. Like
The
Buffalo
quality game's
Miami
a
will
lot
be
better.
good. What was the other one? Tennessee Seattle will be a good game. Dallas Chargers will be a good game. But they're not like, in my opinion, like worth going into a full discussion for. So the only other game that we feel warrants a discussion is the Chiefs Ravens. So funny enough, 2 teams that we did talk about last week.
Back to Lamar Jackson and seeing how limited, I guess, he can be and still produce.
Do you think the Ravens have any chance of winning this game?
How
Because
how
I'll
big
say,
are Lamar's shoulders? How big are Lamar Jackson's shoulders?
because I'll say
How big is that backpack?
the Chiefs didn't look perfect in week 1.
No,
They actually
they didn't have to.
they had a good chance of losing to the Browns. Right? Like I think the Browns should have won that game. They made a couple mistakes for the end of the game, which you can't make against the Chiefs. Which caused them to lose the game. So I don't think the Chiefs looked perfect in week 1. And I bet you they won't
Chiefs
look.
did not look.
I don't think they'll look perfect in week 2. I don't see them coming out here and winning 42-14.
No, I don't see this being. Well, I was gonna say I don't see this being a super high scoring game, but I do see the Chiefs could possibly run away with this, and Lamar Jackson's too out of breath to catch up.
I want to look at. I'm going to pull up real quick. Lamar Jackson and his games against Mahomes. Oops.
Yeah, they've had a pretty good rivalry over the years already.
Okay. Mahomes entered the league in which year was it again? I'm drawing a blank. 20.
No, he was.
What?
I said 2016, but he's
No.
been. It hasn't been that long.
He was drafted in 2017. Okay.
Okay.
So they played. I'm back. Okay, so they play. I don't like how on this website they have Kansas City as KAN. That bothers me.
That's not right.
Okay, so Lamar Jackson, first in his rookie season, they played, and he went 13 for 24 for 2 touchdowns in the air. No rushing touchdowns. He ran for 67 yards, and they lost 27-24. So by a field goal.
Was that the overtime game?
Double checking. Yes.
Okay.
That is the overtime game.
Yeah, so that was their first. Okay, yeah.
That was their first matchup. And then year 2, 2019, they played again, and Lamar Jackson went 22 for 43. No touchdowns thrown. He did rush 8 times for 46 yards and a touchdown. And they lost 33-28.
So one possession.
And then last season, he threw 15 for 28 for only 97 yards and a touchdown. And then ran for where'd it go? 9 times for 83 yards and no touchdowns. So, and they lost 34-20. So he's 0-3 in the regular season versus Mahomes, and they have not faced in the playoffs.
I'm seeing a couple trends here.
But he has not thrown a pick.
Yes, which is you can't do that against the Chiefs, plain and simple. The trend I'm seeing here, and this is not just in these games, this is in, I'm going to say, 13 games a year minimum for the Ravens, is since Lamar Jackson has been on the Ravens, he has been their leading passer and their leading rusher.
Yes. 100%.
So if we do that again, this would be his 4th year in a row of that. He's gonna burn out. He's gonna get hurt. Something's gonna happen. And I hate to keep on
There's just
bringing that up.
there's no way, right? Like there's no way he does this for his entire career.
I
Unless
mean,
his
sure,
career is cut short.
yeah, he could do this his whole career if his career is 5 years.
But there's no way that a dual threat quarterback can have a 10+ year career with doing what he's doing.
Not to this extent. I mean, sure, it's great fun to watch. He's so much fun to watch. He needs to stop. And the Ravens need to get him something.
They have to. I think the chances of them winning this game is very slim.
70-30. 75-25.
I was like, I don't honestly, I wouldn't go that far. I think it's 80-20 in terms of the Chiefs winning.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, is that Lamar Jackson is good enough that he can come in here and win this game.
He could come in this game and sling it for 400 yards and run for 100 on the ground.
That's the part is, while I said it was 80-20 and it is the Chiefs, like the 20 is like, that is a hard 20 though. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, this team has a 20% chance, like if they get lucky. It's like the Ravens have a chance of winning
20 out of 100 games.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. The Chiefs, I don't think they looked perfect. Mahomes did his thing. He threw 27 completions, 3 touchdowns, 337.
I mean, there were a handful of teams that did look perfect week 1, but it's week 1. Everyone's knocking off what little rest they still have. This is the first game that counts.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't look too much into that, to the Chiefs not looking as Super Bowl form yet. This game, however, I would expect them to come out gloves on swinging.
Here's the nice thing for the Ravens. Say they lose this game, which I'm expecting.
It's possible.
Then they go play the Lions. Then they play the Broncos. Then they play the Colts. Then they play the Chargers, the Bengals, the Vikings, the Dolphins, the Bears. Like,
oh my.
This is a good stretch of games after the Chiefs for the Ravens to get a lot of wins.
They start 0-2 by their bye week, which is somewhere
10, I think.
Okay,
I
so
don't have it pulled up, but
by week 10, they could be 6-4 going into their last 7 games.
which I don't like the rest of their schedule. Right, they come back from bye. They play the Bears, which if it's still Andy Dalton, I think they win. If it's Justin Fields, I think they lose.
It's a 50-50.
They play Browns, Steelers. If the Steelers keep looking good, then
2 tough games.
Then they play the Browns again.
3 tough games.
Then they play the Packers, and hopefully Aaron Rodgers understands how to play football again.
No idea what's going to happen at that point.
Then they play the Bengals, which is a division game, so it could go either way. Then they play the Rams. Then they finish with the Steelers. Like, they have the Ravens have to win as many games in the first half of the season because the second half of the season is a gauntlet.
They're looking at, if they keep trending in the direction they're trending right now, they're looking at an 8-9, 9-8 season. At best.
It was like if they're lucky.
At best.
But like,
now if Latavius Murray and who's their other running back?
Tyson Williams.
Thank you. If they come out and they get 20 touches, 25 touches combined, and go for 100 yards and a touchdown in each one of these games, you're going to see Lamar Jackson's production go way up as quarterback.
I think.
And then they're going to win majority of those games.
It sucks that like we say that Lamar Jackson needs help because he is so talented, right?
He's amazing.
But
I don't feel like this is one of the situations where you're saying, oh, the Ravens are wasting Lamar Jackson's career. No, not at all. It's just they can do a lot more with him.
They can do a lot more, and they can avoid a lot more if they give him help. I think that's the key, right? Is avoiding any health problems with Lamar Jackson. Obviously, the Ravens have been going through health problems this season. Like 5,000 players have torn their ACL on their team. So like they obviously have issues, right?
Yeah.
But they have to figure out a way to keep Lamar Jackson healthy. And again, freak accidents happen. Like Lamar Jackson could be walking and just tear his ACL, which would be in true Ravens fashion.
I mean, we've seen a couple of non-contact injuries
I
already
mean,
this year.
Gus Edwards and Marcus Peters, both for the Ravens, were both non-contact injuries, and they both tore their ACL.
Yeah.
So, like,
it happens. I
but
don't
like,
know. I feel like the way that me or you would run a football team is very different from the way that they're actually run, which is maybe why we're not in position.
I mean, I
Um,
guess.
yeah, but I feel like me and you have the same mentality of if I already have somebody like Lamar Jackson and I have serviceable running backs and I have serviceable to good wide receivers, I'm drafting 7 offensive linemen this year.
100%. I'm drafting all the offensive linemen. We're gonna
Yeah,
have so much depth. We're gonna run a
exactly.
9 offensive lineman play.
Like if I'm in a situation where okay, we're a little wishy-washy on a couple things, that's fine. I'm going to tank next year. I'm telling you right now before I do my first pick in the 2022 draft, I am tanking this year. My whole offensive line is going to be rookies. My quarterback is going to be a rookie. My wide receiver is going to be a rookie. And in 3 years, I'll see you in the Super Bowl.
Imagine. That'd be crazy.
You get so much hate for something like that.
But dude, I don't know. It's we talk about like we've talked about most of the Ravens and just like Lamar Jackson and his health, but I think it's the biggest talking point, right? Like obviously the rest of his team has no health.
He's the last one healthy.
So I think
It's like he's in the
they need
Walking
to
Dead
game
walking in the
plan
locker
and
room.
they need to game plan and trust the running backs they have in the building.
They just need to give the running backs a chance at this point. And it's not, oh, let's see what they can do. No, you literally have to give them the ball.
The thing is you have to go in, especially in a game like this, just give them full faith and play as if they are running the ball 6 yards a carry. Like
exactly.
If you lose this game, but you learn more about your offensive line and your running backs, to me that's a win. Like the Ravens need to go out and play like everyone is performing perfectly and not expect Lamar Jackson to have to run the ball 30 times because he has no running game.
Fake it till you make it.
So, I don't know. I think the Ravens lose. Do you know the line on this game? Give it up.
For 5.5?
The Chiefs
3.5.
Chiefs are a 3.5.
I'm taking Chiefs.
I'm gonna be like Pat McAfee. I'm gonna hammer down on that one. Like that's a minus 3.5 for the Chiefs over Baltimore.
And 82% of bets are on that.
Yeah, let's be honest.
That's a little low.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to
both be very wrong, and
I'm trying to find a positive for this Ravens team because they are so talented, but I'm just so nervous. Like it pains me like that. I am so nervous for Lamar Jackson's just his legs.
Yeah,
I'm nervous.
His legs, his knees, his ankles, something.
All of it.
I hope it's all wrapped.
In a bubble, like just a bubble, not like bubble wrap, but a bubble.
Just
get him like those inflatable things that people play like soccer in sometimes, like the big inflatable balls. No, not those ones. The ones that you like.
You're talking about like the tube ones
that you like stand in.
Yeah,
and then, give him one of those. Because if someone tries to like dive at him, he can just like dive and land on them and land back up. And
and they just keep going.
He wasn't down. And he goes scores a touchdown.
I think somebody might have a problem with that.
I mean, yeah, maybe some people.
Certain Roger Goodell and Jake Gruden, to name a few.
Yeah.
Jake Gruden's got nothing to do with this game, but he'd have a problem.
Yeah. Alrighty, but that will do it. I think there are some good games. I don't think there's some great games. This week.
The two we watched, the Titans game. The two we talked about, the Titans game.
I think
I'm interested to see how Tyrod Taylor does again.
Yeah, definitely at Cleveland will be an interesting one. That one I'm confused. They have the Texans at plus 12.5, which I don't really agree with personally. I don't think Cleveland's a really good team.
They have Cleveland at 12.5.
Yeah, sorry, minus 12.5.
Okay. I was about to say.
Oh, I said Texans at plus 12.5. Same.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
Okay, I didn't hear the plus.
So I don't know. I don't see this game being a 13-point difference. I see like 10 max, but that's just my opinion. The Rams Colts will be a good game. Buffalo Miami's a good one. That's a division game. Same with New England, New York, like in the Jets. Those are 2 rookie quarterbacks. Mac Jones visiting Zach Wilson. San Francisco looked good, and they're going into Philly, who looked good. Jameis Winston, we talked about it. He should just run over Carolina. Denver, Jacksonville.
I don't care about that game.
Minnesota, Arizona. I think Arizona is just going to they wiped Tennessee. I think they're going to do the same thing to Minnesota.
Which was impressive.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Atlanta, Tampa Bay. Sorry, Eddie, but I think Tampa Bay makes
Tampa
you guys...
by 30.
Yeah. Dallas at LA. I think it's going to be a good game. I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my second favorite game this week. Chiefs Baltimore being first.
And then Tennessee at Seattle is a bounce back game for Tennessee, but they're in Seattle, so pay attention to that. And then Detroit at Green Bay. We'll see if Aaron Rodgers remembers how to play football.
I'll watch the first quarter of that one, and that'll tell me if I need to watch the rest of it or not.
True. Rodgers scores 21 points in the first quarter. All right, click. Like.
Yeah.
All righty, Eddie. You have a fun fact for me?
Yeah.
All right.
This one is actually going to be kind of a history lesson. But your number is 12.
That's so vague. 12. Is it like plus
12.
minus?
12.
Just 12.
12.
History lesson, so it's got to be old. 12. There were 12 teams in the NFL when it was first created.
Correct.
Is that the stat?
Dead on. Just dead on.
Come on! I am insane! Or the 12 teams?
September 17th. We can find out real quick. But September 17th, 1920, in Canton, Ohio, the NFL was born. 12 teams paid $100 each to join the American Professional Football Association, renamed to the NFL in 1922.
So it was actually called the APFA.
APFA.
And here are the...
You got
1, 2,
it.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 14 teams.
I just want to see some of these names.
So this has 14 teams. I don't know. I'll just name them. You have the Akron. That's how you say it.
Akron.
Sorry.
Akron?
Akron. They have the Akron Pros.
Perfect.
Okay, we get that they're pros. Thank you, team. I didn't know that. You have the Decatur Staleys. I'm assuming they were owned by someone with the last name of Staley, and that's why.
Yeah.
The Buffalo All-Americans.
Okay.
All right. The Chicago Cardinals. That one kind of works.
I feel like that one stuck around.
The Rock Island Independence. Oh my God, this next one. I love this next one. We have the Dayton Triangles. Yes, sir. Triangles. That's right. How many points do we score a game? 3. 1 for each point on the triangle. Then you have the Rochester Jeffersons. The Canton Bulldogs. The Detroit Heralds. The Cleveland Tigers.
Good name.
The Hammond Pros. Wait.
That's 2 pros?
We can't do that. The Chicago Tigers. Hold on a second. Guys.
Hold on.
Guys, hold on a second.
They were too creative back in 1920.
The Columbus Panhandles.
Columbus, Ohio?
I'm
going to assume it's Columbus, Ohio.
I don't know.
There ain't no panhandlers.
Oh, no, it says panhandles on here.
The one I'm seeing is panhandlers.
And then the last one is the how do you say this? The Muncie Flyers? The Muncie Flyers? Muncie.
Muncie.
I don't know how you say that.
I'm looking at the list. I'm saying Muncie Flyers, yeah. 5 of those teams you named were from Ohio.
Wait, that team only played 1 game.
Let's go.
Huh. Whatever happened to them?
That sounds like they played 1 game and dipped.
They played 1 game.
Look, things weren't very structured, okay?
They played 1 game, lost 45-0, left the league.
Me playing Madden Online franchise.
They said, not for us. We'll see you later.
That's wonderful.
I don't. What?
And that evolved into the league we have today.
Then they played in the next season 2 games and then left the league again.
Maybe they didn't have the money.
They lost 14-0 and 14-0 in the second season. Said, you know what? Not for us.
Maybe they had to pay the other team the difference in points, so they only had so much money a year to lose by.
My brain, man.
Maybe they had like their budget was $300 in losses a year.
When did college football start? College football
like 1860s?
No, when what is it called? Inaugural.
Inaugural.
Not
so
playoff.
Let's wrap up the episode before we keep rambling.
I want to know this real quick. Season before we go. 1869 was the first season of intercollegiate football in the United States. While playing,
who were the first 2 teams? Harvard and Yale.
While played using improvised rules more closely resembling soccer and rugby than modern gridiron football. Interesting. Princeton and Rutgers.
Okay, yeah, Ivy League. Schools that have been around since the beginning. What's the face for?
Okay. So, I don't know how the scoring works because it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
But the first game was Rutgers winning 6-4.
It was improvised rugby and soccer. So,
yeah.
Sure. Okay.
The rematch was played a week later under Princeton's rules.
Oh. Home field advantage had a different meaning.
And Princeton won 8-0.
So it sounds like whatever happened, it happened in 2s.
Right? So it was 1-1 in the series. Then they couldn't agree on the rules. So there was a disagreement. So the season ended with both teams going 1-1.
Let's go.
It says the first game of college football using like the actual format
conventional
was played between Tufts University and Harvard in 1875.
So it's been around. Wow.
It's funny. Princeton was named the champion of 1869 by one foundation, and then another historian said that actually they're co-champions.
Yeah, it would be co-champions. Yeah, I would assume.
I don't know, man.
So, you want to talk about the weird scoring? You know what the most lopsided game in college football history is?
Oh no, what?
Just take a guess.
121 to nothing.
I was gonna say it is a shutout, but what'd you say?
121 to nothing. Is it worse?
About halfway there.
Is it like what? 257 to nothing?
222 to 0. Georgia Tech over Cumberland University, 1916. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna end the episode. That hurts my head.
Head coach of the Georgia Tech Engineers was John Heisman.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Heisman. Yeah, you did a great job.
Yeah.
But that is going to do it for episode 43, friends. We appreciate you guys listening, tuning in, watching, wherever you guys are enjoying this podcast. Reminder, we do live stream every episode at twitch.tv/memestreams32teams. Episodes go on YouTube and SoundCloud and Spotify. Just search memestreams32teams. And you can follow us on Twitter at memes32teams. Tweet at us with any of your fantasy questions, any of your football questions. If you want to tell us that we're wrong, that we're crazy, that you agree with us.
Participate in our polls.
Yeah, we're trying to do daily polls. Sometimes we forget days, but it happens. But we do try to do daily polls, so make sure to vote and have your opinion heard. But other than that, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next week after week 2 for episode 44. And peace.
Vamos ATL.